How's it going, Facebook Live? How are you guys on this beautiful Monday? Today is the second day of 2017. Come into the live stream. Going to wait here just a few minutes to have you just get comfortable. Hopefully you're enjoying your day. Maybe you're already back at work. Some people have a day off today. Others are still are just back to normal. Just got done watching the Rose Parade, and that was awesome. Love the Rose Parade. And I was doing some dishes after we had amazing waffles and some yummy breakfast. Just sitting here in my GOZO studios. Welcome to the show. I'm just going to wait a little bit so you can come in to the live stream here on this day of remembrance, hopefully remembering 2016. Looking forward to 2017. Maybe today is just a day of relaxing here in SoCal, Southern California. It's cloudy. It's maybe about 55 or so degrees. And it's just a kind of a nice, cozy day. I was having my GOZO coffee this morning on my brand new GOZO mug. The family is watching the replay of the Rose Parade. One year, we actually went out to the street there, in Pasadena, to see the floats after the parade. Have you guys ever done that? That's always a fun thing. We did that one year. It'd be fun to do that sometime. I think today it's on, meaning the floats are out there from 1 to 3. So here shortly, it's about 12, 11:30. And then tomorrow from 9 till 1, I believe. So if you have time, if you're maybe off with your family and only watched it on TV, and obviously if you're in the area, you have today from 1 to 3. I think it's $13 a person plus parking, or if you take the train or the bus, which is probably the best way to go, then you can do that as well. But I wanted to talk to you about why it's so tough to go back to work. Just going to wait a little bit until maybe a few people come into the live stream. Welcome to the show. Always excited to think about a new year, and perhaps you feel the same way. I wonder how you feel about a brand new year, if you are one that enjoys just thinking about a new year, you enjoy the planning, the excitement of it all. I'm that type. I love New Year's. I love new beginnings, new opportunities. I don't get stressed or worried. That usually happens once I get into everything. But what is hard, I think, for a lot of people is the transition between being home, maybe the last week or so, maybe even longer, and going back to the grind, as they call it, back to school, back to work. And I mean, most of us don't like to even think about that, right? We don't want to really think about having to go back. So what do you do? So I'm going to just wait a little bit till maybe we have just kind of some time here to think about what to do during these times of transition, and then a prayer, because transitioning from being home and having some rest time to going back to the grind can be hard, right? It can be tough. It can be difficult because most people don't like change. Most of us, we don't really want to change. It's tough for us to change. So what do we do during those times? I think the main thing to do is to first realize that change is hard. I was reading an article on the psychology of humans and how there are about 4 or 5 patterns that all humans have. And one of them, I think it was number 2, is that none of us like change. That humans enjoy consistency and similarity. Just think of how much you like driving to work in the same way, or how you like getting up at a certain time and having a routine. Everyone, even those of us, because I consider myself someone who loves to shake things up. Even those of us that are creatives who thrive for chaos and change and newness, we need routines to have, and then to be able to launch from that routine into the new. And then, of course, there are others who just don't like change at all. So I think that's the first thing, is just to know that to go from being home to back to your routine is tough for everyone. So that's important. Number two is realize that everyone, kind of connected to number one, is in the same boat. And so to talk about it with other people. If you're going back to school, back to work, maybe you're going back next week, perhaps it's this week, it's okay to have those conversations and to laugh about it. And even though most people just ask you about what you did over the holidays, and that seems to be the most annoying question, right? Instead, why don't you ask someone, what is it like going back to work? How do you feel now that you're back in school? And obviously, you're going to expect people to just say, oh, I hate it. But it gets people talking about their actual present emotions. And a lot of times you can bond with people. You can support each other. I mean, after all, it's not a huge thing. Most of us get used to the new routine in a matter of a day or two. Statistics are it takes about 24 to 48 hours to get back to the swing of things. But imagine, instead of asking, what did you do for the Christmas break, or what did you get for Christmas, or any of that, imagine just asking people, what do you do to get through the change or the transition between being home and going back to work? How are you coping with that? Or maybe even imagine bringing some tools, maybe something that you've learned, a prayer. I'm going to give you this prayer here in a second, so that you can give a prayer to people. Or maybe you can point them towards a podcast, a book, even just a quote that talks about transitions. So imagine doing that. The point is, everyone's in the same boat as you. And then third, here's I think the most important thing that you can do. And that is to give yourself time to change. To give yourself time to settle back in. Probably the greatest, danger maybe, or the most common thing is to go back to work and expect to be at 110% right off the bat, to pick up right where you left off. And that's just impossible, especially if you've been off for a week or two, even for just 3 to 4 days. It's going to take you 24 to 48 hours to get back into the swing of things. So give yourself that time. One of the things I recommend is give yourself that first day. It could be even just half a day to get back into the swing of things. Ease back into your job. Ease back into your routine. So if you're in education, or if you're working for a nonprofit, or if you work in retail, obviously you can't just go into the break room and just take a nap. But as you go through your day or through your morning or whatever, just in your head, just think about doing what you can, giving yourself that permission to not be at 1,000% right off the bat. You will be there soon enough. In a day or two, you will have to go to meetings again and meet with parents and deal with crises. It's going to hit you. And it might hit you on the very first minute that you're back at work. It might hit you on the way to work when traffic is horrible. So you can't avoid that. But mentally, stay in that place of rest. Stay in that place of saying to yourself, I am in transition. And you will have a better second day, third day, or even second week. For some people, let me say this, it might take you a full week to, quote, get back in the swing of things. Not that you can just do nothing for that whole week and ignore your responsibilities, but you can just, in your mind, take it easy. So I wanted to close with a prayer for us that maybe you can share with your friends as you go back to work, as you go back to the swing of things. And I know that, at least for me, if I was hearing somebody talk about going back to work, I would want to delete that content because I don't even want to think about it. But you might watch this, you might want to watch this video and listen to this prayer in a day or in a week when you have to go back into your routine. So here's a prayer. Oh, faithful God, we ask you to guide us in our time of transition. We need your wisdom that we might be receptive to change, conversion, and growth. We need your grace to redirect our hearts so we may be willing to offer ourselves in joyful service. Do not allow fear, ignorance, or pride to limit the work of your Spirit. Once again, that last part, do not allow fear, ignorance, or pride to limit the work of your Spirit. Amen. I hope that prayer is soothing to your soul and that you can read it and use it maybe that night before you have to go back to work. It could be that morning, both. It might be the whole first day or first week so that it can bring soothing encouragement to your heart. And second, as I said, consider sharing this video or that prayer, just maybe these last 30, 40 seconds, with someone that may need that support as they go back to work, as you go back and you transition back into work, whether it's tomorrow, maybe it was today, or maybe next week. Thank you again. Thanks for watching. Remember to always share, subscribe, and if you want to receive my free daily devotions, which is just the audio version of this video. Thank you again for being here, by the way. You can go to lifeofgozo.com/daily devotions, and you can subscribe there to the email list and receive daily emails of this same content, but in audio. So you don't have to watch a screen. You can just listen to it in your ears, on your phone, your laptop, as you do your day-to-day stuff. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great beginning of this week and enjoy the transitions that are coming your way. Know that God is with you in the middle of every one of these moments. Talk to you soon.